Last night at like 11ish p.m. I was just like laying down and I was like just thinking, and I was like, it like literally dawned on me, like all of a sudden it just like fell on top of me that like I don't really have what you would call like a friend group. I feel like everybody talks about like, oh, I'm gonna have a birthday party and I'm gonna invite all my friends, all my girlfriends, and we're all gonna like do whatever the heck, but like I don't really have that. I feel like I've never really had a group of like women friends that like I would call or I would invite immediately. And at first I wasn't gonna make this video. I was like, this is such a stupid thing to make a video about. Like, this is just like, nobody's gonna watch this, nobody's gonna care. But then I was thinking like, this is probably relatable. Like, there has to be people out there that relate to the situation of like, it's not that I have zero friends, it's that like I know that they have a group of friends on their own, and I know that like they would choose other friends before me. Like, I know that like I am not somebody's forefront or friend, and I feel like this is such a taboo thing to talk about. Like, I feel like nobody likes, like everybody likes saying like I have no friends, but nobody likes seriously talking about the fact that like some people don't have a friend group, some people don't have like friends. Like, I have friends that I can call and I have friends that I can talk to, but I know that if they were to have like a big life event or something super embarrassing happen to them, like they wouldn't call me first. And I feel like people who don't have like friends, like a set group of friends, and they're just like, they have a lot of friends, they're really villainized. Like, people who don't have friends are looked as like a red flag or like whatever, but I genuinely don't think that's the case. Like, I've been in situations where I've had like a friend group, you know what I mean? Like, I've never had like a group of friends who I'd be like, oh, everyone's my best friend in that group, you know what I mean? But I have had like, obviously, like a best friend. I had a best friend for like 5 years. Like, all my friends that I consider like my friends, they've been friends with me for like 10 years. Like, we've been friends together for 10 years. And I had a really, really good best friend for about 5 years, and then she just like, she chose a man that she met a week ago before me, and it just like fell apart. And like, I feel like I don't want to settle to have friends just to say that I have friends, you know what I mean? Like, I never want to be like, oh, like I have friends, but they've done me dirty a bunch of times. But I feel like a lot of people also talk shit about their friends, but they keep them in their lives just like to make sure that if anything else fails, at least they have like those fake friends, because they don't want to be the person with no friends. But I would rather have no friends than to have fake friends that like I don't even like. And I also didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want people who I've been friends with in the past, like that we like fell out or whatever, we had like an argument, we kind of like broke off, I never wanted them to see this and like be like, yes, I knew it, like I wasn't the problem, she's the problem, like she has no friends now, like haha, look at her. Because again, like I don't like, I feel like people who don't have friends are looked at like haha, like they don't have friends, they must be the problem. But it's like, just because you don't have friends or a big friend group doesn't mean that you're a bad person, and it doesn't mean that you are the problem. Sometimes like you're just so different that, you know, like sometimes I look at other people and I see them have big friend groups and I'm like, what's wrong with me? You know what I mean? I used to think that in the past too, like whenever I was younger, and I'd be like, what is wrong with me? Why do I only have like 1 or 2 friends and this person has like a bunch of friends and they look so, you know, happy with their friend group and whatever. But like, everybody's different, and they might have like more of a universal personality where like they just kind of like can like blend in with everybody. Like, and I bet you that those people who have like a bunch of friends, they kind of like blend their personalities to be with the person that they're with at the moment. And I can almost 100% guarantee you that within that big friend group there are cliques of people who are closer than others, because my sister is very popular and she used to have a big friend group, and she's narrowed it down a lot. But whenever she was in that big friend group, she had, like, there were people that were closer and there was drama in that group. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong with us when we don't have friends. And like, people have come up to me before, like I've met people who like were like, do you want to be friends? I have no friends. And they made it sound like it was like the worst thing ever that they have no friends. And I think that that's like more of like, they're just like saying that as like a defense mechanism. Like, they know that, they think that somebody's gonna say it first, and like think it's weird first whenever they announce that they have no friends. So they're like, yeah, I have no friends, I'm like this like stupid little thing that nobody likes. And it's like, I don't think that about you. Like, just because you have no friends doesn't mean that I immediately think like you're a red flag and there's a reason why you have no friends. And I've seen like TikToks of people be like, watch out for girls who have no friends, there's like a reason. But I don't think that there's always a reason. Like, sometimes people just have had bad luck with people, or they have high standards and they want to be treated the exact same way that they treat others. I feel like friendship is something that has to be really well balanced and has to be reciprocated really well. And with my friendships specifically, like, I've had times where like I have supported friends, like my recent like best friend that we're not friends anymore, but I would like let her come over until 2 a.m. and talk to me about her problems with like her ex-man and like the one that she was with at the time, and she would stay over for like 2 a.m. and then I would put my son to sleep, and then I would come right back out and talk to her, and like she would stay over for a long time. My door was always open for her. I'd call her, I'd text her all the time, but those things were never reciprocated. Like, if she would get any male attention, I'd call her, she was like, I'm actually with this man right now, so you're gonna have to hold on, and things like that. So like, I feel like sometimes whenever you just don't have as many friends, or you don't have friends, it just means that your boundaries might be a little bit stronger and you hold on to those boundaries more. Like, I think that if you don't have friends, you should frame it in not such a negative way and like, oh, I have no friends, I'm an idiot, and more like, I have friends, I have high standards, and my friends that deserve me will come. And like, I do almost everything alone. Like, I do grocery shopping alone, I go shopping at the mall alone, I study alone, I walk around campus alone, I like take lunch breaks by myself in my car, like I'm doing that right now. And I used to think that was really embarrassing. Like, I go to cafes alone. Like, I would rather spend time with myself, who I know is real and who knows who's loyal, and I know that I agree with the things that I do, than to be friends with somebody that I don't agree with, who I know has done me dirty. Like, my past friend was letting, like, whenever I would let her stay over until 2 a.m. and do all these nice things for her, she would let her other friends, who like she calls her friends but she doesn't really like that much, she would let them talk shit about me and just like listen. And to me, like, I don't align with that, so I had to let it go. Even though she was like, if in the past I would have kept her just to say that I had friends, like, I would let people do me so dirty in the past, and like treat me like not even a second option, but like the last option, and treat me like I was, you know, replaceable all the time, just to say to people that I had friends. Like, I have friends, look at my friends, I have friends. And people always use like, you have no friends, as like an insult, but like, I didn't want that to be me. I never wanted to be told that I have no friends. So I'd keep around the most toxic people ever to say that I had friends. Like, look, guys, I have friends. And like, now, like, I just stay to myself, because I know that like, I would rather have nobody and no friends than to surround myself with fake people that don't care about me. And people have even told me before, like, how do you spend so much time? Like, my sisters, for example, like, they can't do almost anything alone. Like, they've always had a group of friends at all times. Some of them, they've had toxic friends, but they just kept them to say that they had friends. And they've asked me before, like, how do you do things alone all the time and like it? Like, how do you go to cafes by yourself and not get embarrassed? But like, I don't see it as embarrassing. Like, there's nothing wrong with spending time with yourself. You're just showing people that you love yourself and you like spending time. Like, you genuinely think you're a great person and you're entertaining enough to spend time alone. And I feel like a lot of people are intimidated by that, and maybe, you know, we have such great qualities that like, people are intimidated by us when we have no friends. Not me gaslighting myself, but yeah, I don't think that there's like inherently anything wrong with us just because we aren't as popular as the person next to us. And I think it's totally okay to not have friends at the moment, because like, our time will come. Like, I've had times where I had a group of friends, none that were really like I've never had like a group of friends where everybody's friends, you know. That's what I'm trying to say. Like I've had friends of like I would consider my group of friends, but they are not together, like they don't know each other, you know what I mean? So like I couldn't invite them all over because they don't know each other and stuff like that. But like I've had times where I've had like a group of friends, like whether it's at gymnastics or like school, like everywhere, like sporadic. And I've had times where I didn't have any friends, you know what I mean? And I feel like whether they moved or like whatever, like I had a really good friend, but she moved back to Japan, and like my other friend right now is not in the same province as me and things like that. So it's like I know that when the time is right and there's somebody who deserves how loyal I am and how good of a friend I am and who can reciprocate that, my time will come to have friends again. But you know, yesterday was a really weak moment for me because I was like, damn, like what is it about me that doesn't have friends? Like what is it about me that, you know what I mean? But then I realized that like there's nothing wrong with, you know, being alone and not having friends. Like sometimes people don't deserve us, and that's like, you know. So yeah, continue to have your high standards, continue to treat yourself well. Don't think of yourself as less than because the person next to you has a huge friend group who she does a bunch of things with, and you have one friend, or you know, are by yourself. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. You're not a red flag. You're not stupid or irrelevant or lonely. Like, and you know what, like I would rather feel lonely being alone than lonely being around a big friend group, because at least like when you're alone, that's, you know, you can learn to grow out of it. You can learn to spend time with yourself efficiently. But if you're lonely around other people, that is the worst type of lonely. That is like nobody around you is caring about you. They don't care about what you have to say, and it's hard to change that unless you leave that situation. But yeah, don't let people tell you that having no friends is an insult, because sometimes having no friends is better than having friends at all that suck. So yeah. And I honestly love being by myself. Maybe I'll make more videos like these and you can watch them when you're by yourself, because then it's like we're best friends. But yeah. I hope somebody, you know, finds comfort in this video. I hope somebody sees that like other people are going through just the same thing as they are, and it does get better. And it will get better.